Hey guys, it's that guy again. I'm going to keep rolling with the reviews here as promised. I'm going to do it as long as time and children allow. The wife is out, so I'm home with the Ninos. So we'll have to see how this goes. My youngest has abandoned me for the Phineas and Ferb. And if you've noticed the horrible wallpaper in the background, my wife and I just moved into this house, and as you can see right there, we're working on remodeling and kind of fixing the place up a little bit. So if you see anything that's odd in the background of these videos, just know that our home is a work in progress right now, and so is my EDC and everything else that is involved. This is the Schrade SCH104LS. As I said earlier, this is a very, very nice $35 knife. You really can't go wrong when you have a knife in a $35 price range that's built as well as what this knife is. Now, some of you are looking at this knife and you're thinking, that looks really familiar. That looks like something else that I've seen. Well, if you've ever seen the Enron EL08, this is the exact same knife, except it has been emblazoned for Schrade. Now, I really don't know what happened with that. I don't know if Schrade bought this knife from Enron or if they just hired Enron to produce this knife and label it as a Schrade. I really don't know, but I really don't mind either way. The knife is a very well-made knife, and I believe I'm saying that right. Enron is a very good knife company. They make very good knives for a very good price. Of course, this isn't Spyderco money, and it's not Strider money. This is just a good beater pocket knife where it's 35 bucks. If you break it or you lose it, you're not going to break the bank having to replace it, and it's not going to break your heart like you would if it was like a paramilitary or a Schrade SNG or something of that nature where they're a little bit more expensive. Now, I did receive this for my birthday about a week and a half ago, and I've carried it in my pocket every day since. And I'm just going to throw some pros and cons out there, what I like about it, what I don't. Now, this isn't going to be, this weighs 4.5 ounces and it's this long closed and this long open, because I don't remember all of those specs. This is just my impression of this blade and what I like about it and what I don't like about it and whether I would recommend it to a friend. Now, as you see, the handle scale here is G10. My lighting's not that great in here. We'll just have to play it by ear. It is a milled G10, and it's a very aggressive G10. The G10 feels really good, especially these patterns right here. They're really grippy. You get a really good grip on this knife with this G10 scale. It actually feels better than my Tenacious. The Tenacious feels slick compared to this. I was really surprised when I got this out of the box, and I actually handled it. But it is the G10 on the front side. The back side is a stainless steel that is coated, as is the blade, with a titanium nitride coating. It's a very, very tough coating from what I can tell. Okay, bud. Okay, I will. Yeah, that was my middle child telling me that I better stop and I better cook. So, hey, we'll have to hurry this along. But this is a titanium nitride coating, as well with the blade. And this back scale, because it is a good thick little chunk of stainless steel, is pretty heavy. And that's what gives all of this weight to this knife, I believe. Because it is one big chunk of steel compared to this front. Now, this is lined. It is still lined on the back side of this scale, which I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see it in this video. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. It does have a steel lining in it to give it a little bit more stability and rigidity to it. But this back side, I mean, that'll take a lot of stress in itself with it being such a thick chunk of stainless. Now, one of the things that I don't dislike about the knife, but it's not my favorite thing about the knife, is this pocket clip. The positioning is okay. I don't mind that it rides a little higher out of my pocket. That stuff's never really bothered me. It's this texture to it. It's really polished and shiny. And compared to the majority of the knife, it's kind of standoutish. It's not a deal breaker. I knew it was like that before I bought it. I just wish that they would have done something a little bit different. Maybe, I don't know, satin finished it instead of polishing it. But it is what it is, and it does function really well. It's a very stiff, as you can see there, it's a very stiff pocket clip. And the positioning is okay. Now, it is only tip up, right hand carry only. You can't move it. There's no way to move the clip, which is fine because that's how I like my knives positioned anyway. It does have a lock bar stabilizer, much like the Hinderer. I do kind of wish you could see it a little bit better. I wish they would have raised this pocket clip up just a tad to where you could see more of the lock bar stabilizer if I wanted to customize it. But with a $35 price point, more than likely there's probably not a whole lot of customizing that I would do to this blade. Let's see, this pivot pin, this is another issue. I don't dislike it, but I don't necessarily like it either. I think it could be an issue in the future because I really don't know how I'm going to tighten this. As you can see, it kind of mimics something that would be on a higher end knife, but they don't give you any kind of tool whatsoever to tighten it, and I've yet to find one that will work. So this might be an issue that I'll contact Schrade about if the blade does loosen, which I'm sure it will. Most blades do with use. If I could send this in and maybe get them to tighten it, or if there's a way that I can tighten it myself because this backside is smooth. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. The blade is, see if I can get this right. This blade is 9CR18 MOV, which is within the same family line as Spyderco Tenacious. A lot of your SOGs, a lot of your mid-grade steels are going to the CR steels. And that's good because this is a good steel. It holds an edge fairly well, and if it loses its edge, when it does, it's very easy to sharpen. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to sharpen it, and they sharpen up very, very nice. The serrations are good. I like the serrations. I'm not a big serration guy, but they didn't have the plain edged at Academy where I bought this knife, so I went with the serrated edge. And I mean, it's cool. Serrations are good. They have their place, and they come in handy. But I would just soon have a plain edge knife. But when I got it out of the box, it wasn't as sharp as what I like my knives. It was sharp to a lot of people's standards, but not my standards. So I put it on a strop, put about 5 licks per side on my strop, and it sharpened right up. Exactly the way I like it. It does have the dual thumb studs, which is cool. I like that. It does have this false edge on the back and this nice little thumb ramp. As you can see, you can get a good purchase on that blade when you're cutting with it. It's comfortable, and I like that. A good thing about this blade, and something that I like because I'm kind of picky about this, is there's not a whole lot of emblazing on the blade. The only thing that's on this blade is it's stamped right there, if it'll focus, with the model number, SCH108, or actually SCH104LS. That's it. That's all that's on this blade. It's not stamped where it was made. It's not stamped with a maker's mark or anything like that. And that's good because I'm picky. I don't like a bunch of stuff on a blade. I think it turns me off to the knife. I don't mind a maker's mark if they put one on there. You know, I don't mind where it's made. I don't like a lot of crap on the blade. If there's stuff on the blade, I won't buy the knife. You know, if this had Schrade emblazoned down the blade, I'd have put it back. I wouldn't have bought it. I'm weird like that. Go figure. But all in all, I like the blade shape. I like that belly. This functions really well as an EDC. It really lends itself to EDC, even though it's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit heavier, and it's marketed more as a tactical folder. It limits, or it adds itself to EDC very well. It's heavier than all the other knives I have, so I've had to get used to that, but I don't mind extra weight if it functions good. If the functionality's there and the aesthetics look good, I don't mind a little extra weight because I'm not a sissy. I can tote it, I can carry it. It's not pulling my pants down. You know, if you're a normal person and you're wearing a belt, your pants ain't going to fall off. So a little extra weight, it's alright with me. I'm sorry, nothing fancy, but this whole watching how much everything weighs and not caring if it weighs too much, I mean, I don't really feel that. It's too much trouble. If I like the knife, I'll stick it in my pocket and I'll carry it. And as of right now, this is going to find its way permanently into my rotation unless something happens and, you know, it just turns me off to this knife. This is going to be in my rotation. This is one of my new everyday carry knives. Would I recommend this to a friend? Yeah, for a $35 knife, for a beater knife, for just a general use everyday carry, yeah, I would recommend this. Is it up there in quality with the Benchmade Griptilian I have or even the Spydercos? No, it's not quite up there, but it's a good knife. You can depend on it. I mean, I found no issues with the functionality of this knife whatsoever. The blade's good and tight, pocket clip's good and tight. Everything's made really well. All the lines are clean. Everything lines up good and functions well. And the thing I didn't even mention, it is a frame lock. You see there, it's got a good lock up. Pretty thick little frame lock, actually. For a $35 knife, you can't beat it. Guys, there's my quick review. Schrade SCH104LS. I look forward to watching your videos, and I hope you enjoy this one. I'm going to keep pumping them out, guys. Have a good day.